What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. My name's Lewis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And if it is your first time here, welcome. And please be sure to introduce yourself in the chat so that you can get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And with that being said, as tradition goes around here, the first thing I do is to check exactly who's in chat, and let's see who are the first junkies of the crew in the house tonight. All right, so right off the bat, we have Randy in the house. He's saying hello to everyone. He's saying he's listening through. Okay, that's right over my face. Let's change the size of this. Let's unembiggen. And as you can see, as of what tonight's topic is, I just did the update to Ecamm 4.1, and certain things are the same, but there's so many options that a lot of things were reset. And instead of trying to fix them all, we're gonna go through them together. So we'll continue on. And how you doing, Randy? All right, we also have Paul in the house saying what's up to the fam. He's also saying what's up to Parker. There we are. And Parker's also in the house saying hello to everyone and that he's looking forward to the stream. That's awesome. He's also saying hi to Paul. As you can see, we got Jim Mundy in the house saying hey y'all. It's been a while. It has been. Thank you for stopping by. Super cool to have you here. And Paul is saying what's up to Jim. As you can see, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to make yourself part of it as we continue along. But like I was just mentioning, Ecamm 4.1 was just released this past Tuesday, and there was a lot of things in the beta that I was already excited about that I wanted to start implementing, but I couldn't because it wasn't part of it officially. So a lot of things were, behind the scenes, but now I'm gonna apply all of these things and do a couple of different things. Like you might have already noticed the little difference in today's intro. Let me know what you thought because I'm still working it out. I made it black and white to make it kind of more uniform, because if I would have left it in color, then I think it kind of got mixed in with the background. But I digress. If you want to know how I did that, please be sure to leave a comment and I'll make sure to touch on how I was able to do that effect using Ecamm. All right. We also have Sly in the house saying hello, excited for tonight's stream. Super cool. Well, yes, there's a lot of things going on with Ecamm 4.1, so let's get into it. First thing that I noticed that kind of reset itself was the borders. So I've always had a transparent border around all of my scenes, so it wasn't fully baked in, and it allowed an easier transition between the image that you're seeing here or the camera angle, and also at the same time having the ability to still show a little bit of the background that's transitioning. So let's go ahead and do that. And to better illustrate what I'm doing, I'm going to go into demo mode, which is a feature of Ecamm that allows you to show the contents of your screen. So I'm going to take you in the behind the scenes look of what I do for my live stream. So let's go ahead and do that. And boom, now we're in live demo mode. Now you're seeing exactly what I see when I go into the live stream. One little difference, and I'm gonna actually go into this shot, right? I do have my teleprompter here, right? So the teleprompter here is showing me through this screen the comments and the microphone and sound levels in this screen, so that I can just keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak, and have all of that information in front of me that allows me to better or easier, is that even a word? It allows it to be even more easy for me to read the comments directly once they pop up, like this one of Richard Sarkeesian saying hello to everyone. What's up, Sarkeesian? All right. So, with that being said, the contents that I have here is basically the only thing that you're not seeing on the screen there. All right. So now I'm going to switch over here. Okay. So system audio is muted. Yeah, we're seeing everything. Okay. Those are all the little nuances, but now we're going to go to the window. Right here, I have the camera overlaid on the background. Off to the side here in my camera A, you'll be able to see that I could just turn it off. Oh, I have the scene locked, which is a good thing. You know, always lock your scenes. So now we have to unlock it to demonstrate what we're doing with it, right? Okay. We march on. All right, camera A is exactly what we have there. Right here in this area, to kind of highlight with the cursor, I need to get into one of those zoom buttons. Hey, what's up, Raph? Says, look at that multicam. Thank you, thank you. And yes, I appreciate that. Please be sure to hit the like button. Is highly appreciated, everyone. All right, so right here, I want to add the border. So what I'm going to do is that right within this overlays window, if I could move it, right within this overlay window, I'm going to select my camera, and then I'm going to select the little cog wheel that's going to give me all of the settings for the camera feed, including the border, which, as we can see here, is selected to none. So let's go ahead and select a color, a gradient, or a motion. And if I believe the motion is kind of what I'm looking for tonight, all right, because we're going to go next level with these borders. So, all right, now with the motion, we have border width, corner radius, and also the color that we're dealing with. So we also have the opacity or opacity, depending on how you say it, and the rotation, but then also like blend modes and a bunch of different things that you'd kind of probably already be used to, the blend modes that are available within Ecamm 4.1 if you've used any type of Adobe or, you know, Illustrator type of creative application before. All of the blend modes are pretty much numerical values, so they are just kind of all generally the same from program to program. So the blend modes, as you can see, we have darken, multiply, color burn, linear burn, lighten, screen, and they work just the same way as they would in Adobe products, in what's this other one, Affinity products, and different programs. It's all going to work just the same way as you would have it here within Ecamm. But let's go back. Right here, it kept my previous color. As you can see, the purple and the light purple. So we're able to click onto that to select the colors and the opacity as well. And it has it at 65, and it kind of looks good there. But I'm going to make it larger so that it could be more pronounced. So where are we? The corner radius, we're at 50%, and the border width is what we're going to expand upon. All right. And we're going to make it extra big today, just to exaggerate the point. I'm going very Puerto Rican. Hey, we got James in the house as well. He's saying what's up to everyone. And we got Kevin sneaking in as well. What's up? How you doing, fellas? Okay. All right, so now we got this oversized border, but I think that because I have the opacity drop down, I could also click this pencil here. I think because I have the opacity like halfway down on these, we can't see the motion. So I'm going to go ahead and scale that back up. And let's see what we're doing. Yeah, as you can see, because we have a mixture there, what? They're just disappearing. I can go to the secondary color, which I also have the opacity set at 50%. So the half dark side is actually being more transparent, and then giving the purple side full opacity at 100% is making that more pronounced as it circles around my camera feed. And I think that looks pretty cool. just the mixture of the two. And that's what I'm saying. We're just demoing this live, showing you what I would see and what I'd be messing around with in the background if I were to just be doing this alone, because this is the type of stuff that I like to mess with in Ecamm to get the most out of this. So taking the same concept and principles, I could just leave that as is with the motion. And now, yeah, that's where I will leave it. And now, leaving live demo mode, you'll be able to see what I see. And now that border filling up your screen is going to be even that much more pronounced, so that you can see the motion. Now, let me know your thoughts on how this is working with the background. Do you think it's too much, like, wearing stripes with, plaid, so to speak, or like, if it's too much, or if it's subtle enough, maybe by making the border a bit thinner, that it would be something to just constantly have motion but not be too, like, too standoffish. Here, let me see what's going on. Oh, Raf just mentioned, said, I got excited when Ecamm said that audio effects are coming soon ish. Yes. And that is something that is on the horizon. I wouldn't say, let's hope it's some type of update that might come before 4.2, but it is something that the masterminds behind the program, Ken and Glenn, are working on audio plugins, so that you'd be able to use like limiters and a lot of different effects just directly within the program, and not have to redirect it using secondary programs like what is it, audio hijack, and a variety of different hijacking audio programs, so to speak, that you would have the ability to use. I use Crisp to cancel out the noise in the background. It does wonders with everything, including like shocks to the microphone. It only transmits my voice, so that's one that I've been using. But the excuse me. All right. Let's not die here. 1 second. But yeah, that to be able to use plugins like Raf is mentioning, the VSTs and the denoise, exactly, is built in, meaning that it's going to be easier for, I guess, the novice to be able to add these, and also expand upon the abilities of the biggest professionals, allowing them even more control over audio directly in Ecamm. So it's going to be really cool to be able to apply that in future iterations of Ecamm. That's going to be like super cool. Hey, Jeremy's in the house. Says, I wish Crisp wasn't such a resource hog. I don't know what system you're using. I'm on the Mac Studio. Man, I even forgot. There's the M1 Mac Studio Max, not the Ultra one, right? And basically entry level for the M1 series of Mac Studios. And I also have my activity monitor open right here. Excuse me. I feel like I still had it right there in my throat. I see Crisp and I have it open here, and Google Chrome is spanking it. Like, as far as the resources that it's requiring from my computer right now. So my Google Chrome and those windows just being open is consuming a lot more of resources, and right now it goes in order: Ecamm, Google Chrome, and Crisp. Now, Google Chrome is a bit of a resource hog, so we know that. So it's not like it's saying like, hooray, it's better than than Google Chrome. But at the same time, I haven't had any issues with my setup at all, or even doing the what is it, the the production for the Flow podcast, where I'm actually having two people call in here. So it says click on memory. No, that's exactly where I'm at. Right now, I'm using app memory at like 33 gigabytes active. Wired memories at 6, but I did opt in for the 64 gigabytes of RAM, which is probably why I don't have an issue. If you have anything less, maybe 16 or even 24 gigabytes, depending on your setup, anything under 32, I can see where that could be, but that's why I recommended this aspect as far as like my setup, and I knew what I wanted to get because I knew what I was going to be pushing. We have multiple cameras. We have this one right over here, we have that one, and we even have overhead right over here. So all of these being connected with the Rodecaster Pro and everything else that I have connected to this bad boy, including 2 monitors. We have this whole, teleprompter setup with the cables, the whole kit, bam, and caboodle, right? So everything's set up here, and I am at 33 gigs of memory. So yeah, I can see that if you would have anything under that, maybe even the 32 gigs, you'd be running into the swap. So that would probably, be doing that. But we're talking about Ecamm. We just ran on a squirrel mission over here talking about Chris, because that is one of the plugins, but that's something even to come. But it would be cool to have Chris running directly through Ecamm to make that even easier, even though I don't have a problem. And ever since I started actively using it just a bit over a year ago, it's just been hassle free, and like, even, what is it, stress free. I haven't even thought about it again, because I can see the levels with Ecamm, and I can see if it is working or if it isn't. So Chris has been awesome for me. Take that as it may. Each has their own experiences, but we march on. Let's go back into live demo. Let me see if I got any responses on that, because we started going into this thing. But I guess, I'm just going to take it as a proof of concept, so to speak, that the border moving around is subtle enough that it's not distracting. But maybe could just add a little bit more of an element. So we're going to, march on, and we're going to continue. One thing that I have had before, but for a long time just kind of like slips my mind, is like having my name, right? Because if this is the first time that you're watching, the Camera Junkie live stream, then, and you missed just the beginning, then you're just kind of like rolling with it, so to speak. And I don't have another way to address who I am. So we're going to make a lower thirds, and we're going to make it right within right within Ecamm, with all of the powers that we now have with shapes and a bunch of different things. So let's go into that. All right, we have overlays here. Let's move that for my OCD, and then we're going to click this here. All right, so let's see what we're going to come up with. We have our overlays here. One of them being like the city's GA, right? City's GA is just going to drop down in there like that. So that, as you can see, is in the overlay scene, but it's in this area where it says show in all scenes. Even though I have it hidden, it's show in all scenes, so that if for any reason I might have switched the scene and I hit my city's GA button, it's going to float over there. And even as I switch scenes, it's going to stay on top. So that's pretty much the location where I'm going to want my lower thirds to live, so that if I were to set it into a Stream Deck button, like my city's GA, right, I can just simply hit it and turn it on and turn it off, which is something that I'm also probably going to do with like small reminders, like hit that like button if you haven't done so already, because a lot of times I want to say it, but kind of forget. you know. But then if I have a button, it makes it that much easier to even remind myself to do something like that. Like I have the cities go button, hence, knock on wood, not like I haven't ever forgotten to do the cities go segment, even though I've had it all set up, because that's never happened before. Okay, now we march on. Now we're gonna continue, and we're gonna make a lower thirds with my name on it, and you can put whatever you want on it, but we're going to start with a text, and we're going to add a text overlay. All right, and this is what we're going to be looking at. You have the ability to use whichever font you have installed within your Mac system, and you have basic categories. As you can see, I have one here that's labeled MCJ for Mr. Camera Junkie, and has my most used fonts that I've used in the live streams, and also like my thumbnails. So kind of the same ones that I've used. Anton is one that I've used quite a bit. So we can go with an Anton text, and we can add that there. Now, what do we want it to say? Let's just put Mr. What? Let's highlight it so that we can type. And there we go, Mr. Camera Junkie. So now that we have that there, it went into Montserrat. So let's change that once again to Anton. Okay, cool. The reason why I like Anton is because it's very legible and it's pretty condensed. So it takes the longer name that I use, Mr. Camera Junkie, and is able to just truncate it, so to speak, and it's still easy enough to read that you can read it the first time you see it. So that's why I use that. Now we have text colors here, which we can start with white, and effects. Let's see what effects we have. Oh, we have light, glow, and shadow. Let's just leave shadow. But if you wanted to make it even like no shadow at all, because you just want more of the contrast, you can take that off, and let's try it. Our size is 30. We're gonna roll with that, and now we're gonna hit add. Boom. So now we have Mr. Camera Junkie just floating in the middle of my face here. We're able to click and drag and move that anywhere we like, and that could be it. You know, like, you can just have that. We can embiggen it to make it a good size, so that's even easier to read. But then at the same time, oh, and this is one of the things that, can we do that here? No. There's a feature, excuse me. Oops, that wasn't what I was trying to do. This is what I was trying to do. And I was trying to remove all of the text and information. So if you have a Stream Deck, there's a shortcut key that you can add to your Stream Deck that adds and removes all of the information, so that it gives you a better visual of what your stream is going to look like. This also gives you more room to be creative with it, so that when you click around, you can hit the pencil and get more of these options here, so that you can play around with whatever it is that you're doing. So I recommend doing that. It's something that I do all the time. What's it called? Is the show control button. It's either showing it or not showing it. So it's to take off the controls, and allows you to have, like I said, just a better visual of what's going on without all the information kind of cluttering your scene. Okay, so now we're getting basically the same options as we had before, right? Almost like the same that we had for the border, but now for the lower thirds text overlay. Okay, so we have margins, we have borders, we have none. Let's go with a gradient. All right, so that gradient, you can see the effective border that it has right now, and it's fading top to bottom. Now we have a little like circle selector here, which is your angle selector, meaning you're able to select the angle of where the gradient is going. which this in a nutshell is basically the same thing as the motion that we're doing on the border, so that we could affect it the same way. And if we wanted to, we could make it basically the motion just like the border that we have around the shot and effectively have that working. You know what? Let's try to match it. Apparently, like I said, the outside border isn't too distracting, but it might be something that we like. Okay, so we're gonna go with motion. That's pretty cool. I'll give it there. Okay. Remove some of the opacity. Let's see how that looks. Opacity needed to be there. Maybe this one on the dark side. Bring that to 14, 19. We'll leave that there. Corner radius. Definitely want to round these things off. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. And I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe I need to change the color, but I'm not feeling the motion right now. Let's see. Let's go with the familiar purple on a dark scale here. Eggplant, as Apple likes to say it. Okay, don't like that either. Let's go silver. I would love to get your opinion on this. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you have any opinions, if you want to see any particular, says style dynamic. Oh no, we'll leave it dynamic. Yes. Okay. As the options are text box shrinks, truncate, or scrolling ticker, which is not exactly what I wanted as far as the lower third, right? Not a scrolling ticker. Oh, I lost my corner radius, so let's work with that again. Okay, 15. Let's go all the way, 100%. We're going to take one. Actually, you know what? Let's do this one. Yeah, kind of points to me, right? So saying like this guy's Mr. Camera Junkie. So we can leave that there. Now, let's see. I think I like the gradient just because it's more stable. I think it's distracting the slight motion. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, 10. Okay, let's see. Cut out text. Oh, I forgot about that. So let's see. Then I need to put a background. All right, so let's add a color background. Or even a gradient background. Now let's just do a color for right now. All right, semi opacity. You're seeing all the wheels working in my head right now, so let me know what you guys think. Says love the new Ecamm upgrade. How you doing, Albert? You sneaking in the back saying what's up? Yep, Paul says don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Everybody's saying what's up to each other. And oh, Sammy's in the house. What's up, Sammy? I missed it. Snuck on right under the radar. Let me see what. Okay, so Jeremy said going back to the M2 Mini Pro Talk. Actually, you know what? Looking at that right now, let's deal with this as well, because we could barely see it with my name there. So we're going to have to go background color, but we're gonna have to hit a lot more, opacity there. There we go. Gonna go 90%, and that should make things a lot more legible. There we go. M2 Mini Pro. All right, he says, I've been running the crisp all day, 1.36 gigabyte being used. Oh man, it must be the RAM. It must be the RAM aspect of it. Paul says Chris is always on the top of the list. It's third on my list, but not by much. You understand? As far as resources go, ports and threads, we're looking at 1800 to 1200, so to speak, threads that it's pulling. Oh, let's not do that. See, I changed the size of my screen, and I didn't want to do that because they're basically all the same in size, even though I just need to add the borders. If you can see the edge right, or I would say if I can get my finger there, right here. Oh, my bad. Totally lost. The border here, right? If you see the size of it, when I switch scenes, it doesn't change. It just, this one doesn't have the border. So that's what I did. And when I changed the size accidentally, right, like that, all I did was hit control or command. I forget. Control Z. Boom. I really need to just get a better a keyboard cap that changes that from the Windows logo, so that if you want to know what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. I'm using a Windows keyboard on my Mac computer. All right. We're back here. We're back at that. We fixed. Okay, so we fixed the overlay here, gave it some darkness so we can read it better. Sly says, I'm just trying to follow along. I'm trying to do my best to not go like a million miles per second and explain every step that I'm going through. Hey, Gretchen's in the house. Gangsta Grandma. And Parker saying what's up to Gretchen. Okay, so let's go, and we're going back to it. Okay, what we can do is we could add some of that same darkness opacity going back to 90. And then maybe what we can do is we can do that cutout feature, and then it's like transparent. Oh, it's semi good, you see, but it's depending on your setup. So if at any time I'm off kilter, so to speak, and it falls into the shadow here, you can't even read it, so you would have to be careful with it. But I don't know, I think that's pretty cool, and I definitely think it's cool that that's an option of something that you can do, right? Because there's a lot of different things that you can apply. So now one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the intro screen, because I kind of used Ecamm to make the intro for Ecamm. So let me explain this. Get out of live demo mode. Still got my name down there. Let me know what you think. Maybe if we should keep it solid or keep it, like, what is it, that the cutout mode. But how could to explain what I did. In the opening sequence, I was able to put a camera overlay in black and white of me just kind of running the behind the scenes here of like the waning seconds before I actually go live. And I put that there, and then I was able to bring in the same like traditional intro but instead of the white letters, they were cut out in the same manner that my lower thirds is right now. And that cutout was allowing to see the camera that was behind it. And the way that I did it was actually using green screen. So what I was able to do was take the original live stream intro that was built inside of Ecamm, and what I did is that I changed the color of every letter in there, or of the text, and I changed it to green so that it could then be manipulated by the green screen. Once that was complete and I changed the timer, the name, you know, the whole intro logo with the way that they fly in, which is, you know, a simple feature from Ecamm Live, I was able to then just record it to my computer without it being a live stream. And I just let it run its course and do its, you know, 2-minute countdown in green. And then I stopped the recording as soon as it finished when it transitioned to the next screen. With that recording, I was able to take that, trim off the edges, you know, well, basically just the back end to make sure. And to get really technical, all I did was basically turn off the timer to set it off to the next scene, and just change it from, you know, move to the next scene to end the recording. So as soon as the timer finished, it automatically ended the recording, so it didn't move to another screen, and it recorded everything with the intro letters in green. I then took that same file and went right over here and dropped it on top of the intro. With that intro, let's see if I could demonstrate. Go back to the live demo mode. Right, we're seeing this again. I'm gonna go to the intro. In the intro, I'm automatically muted, so I had to just unmute myself. Sorry for the short delay, but as you can see now, I'm in the back because what I was able to do with it is go and put the blend mode into green screen. Now, if you're using blue because you have green eyes, well, we understand. So then we also have the ability to use blue screen. But if I put blue screen, then you would see the opposite, and you would see exactly what's going on, that the letters are actually in green. If I were to go normal, this is what you're looking at. And because I have the blend mode set to green screen, it automatically does the same cutout that I was just using in the lower thirds. And that's how simple I was able to use Ecamm to create the file and then bring it right back into Ecamm to have that as the intro. Right? We go back to it, and as you can see, if I were to just shut off that recording that's right here, you will see the black and white image underneath. That's the only difference. So the way overlays work is that they lay on top, right? And they stack, so they're laying over it. And as that goes and it just trickles down, as soon as the file is done, I also have it set here to, oh no, this isn't, I've got the features hidden here. Boop. Here, I have it to go to the next scene, which is the beginning of the live stream, where we go normal. And now we're out of live demo mode, and that's it. So there's so many cool features. I'm gonna go on my own time, right? And I'm gonna go and set the borders so that they all match, so that this shot and this shot have all of the same congruent and same style borders. But just simple tweaks could allow you to totally transform the live stream. And then the last thing that I would have to do, right, is actually go into, you know what, we're gonna do it for those of you who are still here hanging out, right? We're gonna go 100%, and we're gonna go back into live demo mode, and I'm gonna go into configure my stream deck. I'm gonna bring this here so that you can see this is what's going on in my stream deck. We're gonna click this button, and this is my second page, and this is the button that I was telling you about, the hide controls. So whenever we click it, it hides the controls in the back from being shown. See, like I said, it allows you to be more creative. But we have so many open slots here that allows me to do a lot of things, like take this and we're just gonna right click it. We're gonna hit copy, and now I'm gonna hit paste here. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna have this run scene, and that run scene, oh no, not run scene. I need to do something different. Oh, good thing, because I caught myself. Let's just delete that. Let's go here, because what we created was an overlay. So my name in the text is an overlay, so we're going to just go into the Ecamm, shortcuts here, and show hide overlay, and we're just gonna drop that right there, and it automatically picked Sarkeesian's text there, but that's not the one that we're going to use. And once we click on the drop down menu, it gives us all of the available options, and the Mr. Camera Junkie is the one that we're looking for. So now that becomes the button for it, and now that we click it, we can easily turn it on and turn it off. And now that lives on my stream deck, and when we exit the demo mode, I now have the ability to click a button and remove or turn that on, just like bam. Whoa. And that's how easy it is to be able to manipulate all the things that you want done, from switching cameras, my go-to, my number one companion, my stream deck. This thing does so much for me, including my editing workflow. And it just sits there and allows me to go through the scenes and just work all of this magic seamlessly, because all I really have to worry about is interacting with you amazing people, having these 15 keys in front of me, and the microphone to keep me centered where all of these cameras are at. So that's gonna be it, so to speak, for my Ecamm live stream demo. Let me know what you guys thought of it. If you have any questions, something that you're still wondering about, because I might not have touched on it, it's a very big possibility, please be sure to put a Q in front of any questions you might have, or leave a comment in the chat if you're watching this on the replay. I'll make sure to get back to you and explain in the best of my capabilities of what I'm able to do with this amazing program. So now, with that being said, let's go back to the chat. I'm gonna get something to drink to hydrate and see if you guys do have any questions and what's going on before we get into that thing that I almost forgot, so to speak, that I didn't forget because I remembered, which is that thing, City Skull. So okay, so let's check the chat. Okay, so it was when Gretchen I came in. Sly says this is one of the shows that I'll watch over and over again. The cool part is that you can reach out to me if you have any questions over anything that you're still like not 100% on. So please be sure to do so, because I would love to help you out with a lot of things. You know, I wasn't sure exactly what you were speaking about as far as your configuration goes with camera A and camera B in your live stream yesterday, but you know what? I'm gonna go over something right now, because it's not even a question, but we talked about it yesterday. Well, you did. So once again, I'm gonna go back to live demo mode, and show you the behind the scenes. And now what I'm showing you is that I have my 4 cameras, right? This here is guest number 1 if somebody were to come in through the interview mode, but I digress. We're just talking about these cameras over here, and I have them in my camera switcher. Now, if I go here to all sources, this is showing me all the available sources, right? Like within the computer that I have connected, right? It's showing me the 11 Pro Max. Oh, it is connected. Let me not click it because I have that right here on the screen. If you see this screen right here, you can see that I have my phone right in front of me and it's plugged into the computer. Okay, these are all the camera sources, but as you can see underneath them, they have Camlink 1, Camlink 2, whether it's a Camlink or it's the lesser expensive, HDMI adapters. A lot of the issues that come about, even with the Camlinks, when you have more than one connected, is that they do not have individual identifiers to the computer. So when the computer boots up, or whenever you turn on Ecamm once again and it fires up, the video capture cards, then what actually ends up happening is that it resets the number, which one goes first, which one goes second. So a lot of times when I open up Ecamm, this Camlink 4K here and the Camlink 4K2 would kind of have switched sides. And instead of me going into every single one of my scenes that I have set up here on the left side, right? Instead of going into every single one of those and changing the cameras, because it's no longer the 4, the number 2 is the number 1 and have to flip them, that would frustrate anybody. What I do is that each one of my scenes has set up a placeholder camera, and you can see it says video source camera A, right? Because this is my A shot, and my A shot is the camera that's right in front of me. Camera B is this one right off to my right. Camera C is my blimp cam, right? The one overhead behind the scenes, BTS. And then my camera D is my overhead. So these are my 4 angles. And instead of setting them up particular by camera or anything, I set them up by placeholder, which is by going and clicking onto the secondary tab, going A, B, right? So now over here within my scenes, this window here floating around within my scenes, camera A will have the placeholder for camera A, and that's what it says. If I click this, if I click the drop down menu, you'll see that I have all the options, including the cam links themselves. If I were to select the cam links and they do the switch on themselves, then I would have to go into each one of those scenes to change that feature within the output so that all of my scenes are correct, which would be a pain, especially if you create a scene like some of the ones that I have that have multiple cameras. So if you were creating something like this and then wanting to broadcast this, and then I would have to go into every single one of these to actually put them correct and kind of flip-flop, you're talking about all the scenes, literally all of the scenes that I have in my scenes window. I would have to go camera by camera and change that adapter. No need to do that, because when you set up the scenes, no matter what, you set them up by the placeholders so that scene A is camera A as the option, then scene B has camera B as the option. And what this does is that every single one of the scenes has the same A, B, C, or D camera set up to it. And when you're there and you have it set up that way, then if you were to shut down your system and reboot it, you don't have to go into every single one of the scenes. All you have to do is go into your camera switcher window, which is what I have hovering here, and make sure that this one is the correct one. Because if this was incorrect, right? If the incorrect cam link is directed there, when I hit camera A, it's gonna show camera B, and then when I hit camera B, it's gonna show camera B. Like, it's all mixed up. So no, instead of having to do that in every single scene, I just come here and make sure that camera A is the one that I have facing me, even if it says that it's the cam link number 2, right? I know better. So don't worry about cam link number 2. Cam link number 2 today becomes my A camera. It means that every scene that's here behind me, so to speak, in the window, right? Every scene that's here that has the placeholder A will now be getting A camera's feed, and so on and so forth. And when you set up your scenes and everything with the placeholders and the AB cameras, kind of the frustrations of the other peripherals that you attach to these devices kind of becomes a lot easier to deal with. So that's the last bit of live demo for today, right? As far as the placeholder cameras, and I hope this helps. And this is definitely one of those sections that slide that you're probably going to rewind and go about again so that you can comprehend, but all the information is there. Okay. Says, I like the name in the corner, but it will interfere with the chat box. That's why it shouldn't always be there. But it's kind of cool that, you know, if like you don't have anything in chat at the moment, right? And you don't have anything, and I'm in a soliloquy, you're able to just simply just add that. What happened? He's literally telling. Oh, what? Hold on. Oh, I messed up. See, I just did something. I'm like, I hit the button and it didn't give me the lower third. So once again, I digress, but I'm going to go back into live demo. What I did is that I created the live demo. Let's go ahead. I created the lower third, but I created it specifically in this scene. Right? So as we can see here in the overlays window, it's show in this current scene, and I want it to be over here with Cities Ga, where it shows in all scenes so that it doesn't matter. Now the button stays the same on my Stream Deck, but now because the overlay is in the correct orientation, it allows me to do that, allows me to lock my scene and still turn on and off the camera junkie lower third. You see, like I kind of won't do the cutout for that. I will straight up do the no cutout like that. And now because of it, I will definitely take the background color and drop down the opacity. Get it more like a gray. We'll do 60. And then with that fade as well. You know what? I want the fade from the bottom. Let's see. I'm getting, you see, I even went quiet because I'm like meticulously dealing with that, but that's good enough. All right. And there we go. And now that's at a click of a button. Right? Boom, boom. There we go. So, like you said, if I'm not bringing up a comment, then it'll be a lot easier to see that there. And that will be much better off. All right. Thank you. Says, that's so clever. Great explanation too. Thank you. All right, I forgot what I'm being thanked for. Sorry, guys. Says, my Stream Deck and I don't get along, so it misbehaves, so I put it back in the box. No, you see, this is like the game changer. Sly, we need to get on a call. I need to help you out on so many of these little like quality of life features. It's going to change everything for you and make it a lot easier. So somehow last night I selected all cameras and then deselected it, and then it fixed itself. There's magic in my house. That's funny. But what I was trying to emphasize yesterday when I said that yes, you can change the camera feeds like live, is for instance, the camera up here, my overhead camera, is plugged in via USB-C, right? And because it's via USB-C, its max output in this mode, like using it as a video capture card, is capped at 720p resolution. So now if I want to do a video like I have before and record something overhead, instead of changing all of my cameras, what I actually do is that I have a secondary HDMI cable that gets connected to this camera. And it's actually, let me show you. The second HDMI cable, right, lives right here next to my cam link in the back. So it's upside down, but that HDMI cable there says B because that's my B camera cable. And that B camera cable feeds directly into this computer, which is this shot right here. That's my B cam. What's up, B? Now, B camera has the cam link that gives you full 4K imagery out of the display, and that's what I want to get out of this guy. But sometimes, as you can see, it might even be a little bit choppy, right? Because it's doing power delivery, is doing video and audio all through the same USB-C cable, and for that reason it's capped at the 720. It looks good, but if I'm making content and I want to emphasize on something, I want to make sure that I get like the full B-roll 4K video out of this camera, and I know that it can produce good imagery, but not this way. So what I do is that I have a connection of a USB or HDMI, sorry, I connect it to the HDMI, and then back here, going back to it, sorry, I take this HDMI cable out and I pop in this one, the secondary one, and the secondary one here that's hanging out is running directly to the ZV-1 that you see here. Then what that does is that it changes my camera B to the overhead feed, but in full 4K HD. And then I just record those two directly to my computer as I do my talking head, and then I do my overhead shot, because I know at that moment I'm not going to be using Bcam. I'm not on a live stream, and I want all of the HD properties to come out of this camera to go into the recording, make it easy for me with Ecamm. And then that's what I throw into Final Cut Pro and keep working it from there. So pro tip, that's the thing that you can do. And I know that if I was live right now, I'm able to still connect that HDMI, unplug the cam link, it will go black for a minute, and then once I connect the other HDMI, we'll pick up this secondary camera and it will continue rolling. So when you mentioned yesterday, if I switch them like physically, can I make camera A and camera B? I was like, yeah, if you can go and switch those HDMI cables, even on the fly, you wouldn't have to restart Ecamm or anything like that. You would be able to literally just physically take the ends off of the HDMI side of the cam links or the video capture cards that you're using and switch them out, and Ecamm will just pick up whichever signal is being given. Hope that helps. John is in the house saying, hi crew, love the Ecamm demos. I've been using it for 2 years and still feel like I'm learning new stuff. Well, that's the cool thing about learning new stuff, because that will always happen. These guys are constantly adding stuff. Like one of the things that I didn't even get to was like the shape overlays, which I haven't messed with a lot, but now you're able to add shapes like circles and things like that and have them do different things. There's, like I just mentioned, the different blend modes that you have, like it's like Photoshop within Ecamm. So there's so many things, and I'm still learning because I'm I'm yet to know it 100%. And if you have, a creative bone in your body and you like messing around, then you're gonna be having a lot of fun with Ecamm, because they give you a lot of options. And the best part is, like, you don't have to go anywhere else to do it. So there's a lot of these things that I also use for my regular productions, because I will come and record that video in Ecamm, and instead of dealing with memory cards, I have the files already in my computer, and then right into Final Cut Pro, start chopping broccoli. All right, Paul says, thanks for the stream. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for always being the best moderator possible and hanging out here, man. It makes my weekends, my Saturday nights. Jeremy here says, time to go eat ramen. Oh, bro, ramen. That sounds so good. Thanks again, as usual. I'm going to install the Sigma 23 1.4. Nice. Can't wait to see how it looks. 16 is a bit wide, and 30 makes my face poofy. Well, that one's gonna be good. That one's gonna be good. So I can't wait to see it. Hey, Kevin's also saying thank you for the stream. He's heading out, saying have a great rest of the weekend and week ahead to everyone. Yep, John snuck in. But yep, that's it, guys. It's 11:03, and we did it. This was episode 147. And if you're not familiar with that terminology, well, let me clue you in that that's 147 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream without skipping a beat. This happens every week, and I'm still in demo mode. I'm still in demo mode, not anymore, but this happens every single week, not in demo mode, but every single week. I'm using this amazing program, Ecamm, and you know what? Let's go out with that. This amazing program that allows you to do lower thirds and cutouts and have multiple cameras and switch scenes and make scenes and add music and create the best production, produce podcasts. There's nothing that I don't do with this program, and this program has allowed me personally to do so many amazing things every single day, and that's why I never stop talking about it. And if you've never heard me say this before, but in a couple of weeks I'm going to be on the road heading to Massachusetts to go to Ecamm headquarters and be part of the first year, the inaugural Ecamm Creator Camp. And I'm really excited to meet so many amazing people. People are flying in from the UK, from Canada, from all around, and we're all gonna just like land and embark upon Amesbury, Massachusetts, and I can't wait for it. So that's just another added bonus for so many of the amazing things that have happened to me personally because of this incredible and amazing program. So if you haven't checked it out before, I highly recommend you take a look. And if use one of my links, if that's how you found it, it will be in the description down below. And if you were to use my code MCJ, you'll get your first 30 days free. So you could add that on top of it. And I haven't found the person that has utilized Ecamm and gone back to anything else. So that's been my personal experience, and enough about that. Now back to you and thanking every single one of you for hanging out here with me. This is the highlight of my week. I say it week in and week out, and that's why I know that next week you can mark it on your calendars, where we're going to be doing it all over again. And next week we'll be on to episode 148, and that is 148 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream. And I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces as we run it by one more time next week. And have a great week. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I can't wait to do it all over again next week. Talk to you. And this is where I hit the outro.